It's your turn to make your own map. To do that, you'll need to open up a tab in a web browser, and you'll need to go to maps.google.com. Now, if you aren't logged into your Google account, you'll need to do so now, and that will typically be in the top right-hand corner. It'll ask you to sign in. Now, over here, underneath the query box, has popped up a My Maps option. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And in the top right-hand corner, I see this Create button. So that's what I'm going to do. And if you are here with a group of people from your school, only one of you needs to create the map, and then you can share it with everyone else at your school so that everyone has access and can add their own connections. So you'll click Create. And you'll want to title your map. Give it a brief description. Hit Save. Time to start editing your map. To do so, you'll want to get comfortable with a few tools. The toolbar you'll be using is right below the query box. You'll want to get comfortable with this hand tool, which moves you around in the map, and the place marker tool, which adds a marker to any location of your choosing. Also in the bottom right-hand corner is a zoom in and zoom out tool. So before we begin to add place markers, let's create a few layers. Over on the left-hand side, where you will have your places listed, you'll want to create 2 layers. Google Maps automatically creates a layer for you in the beginning, which we need to rename. So to do that, you need to click on these 3 dots, which are your layer options, and then click Rename this layer. So let's rename this to Current Community Connections. And these will be the current connections that you're already using around your school. And then let's create a second layer where it says Add Layer. And again, let's rename this one using the layer options. And we'll name this one Untapped Possibilities. So now I have 2 layers that I'm going to add place markers to. I'm going to start off by adding place markers of current community connections and then add untapped possibilities. First off, I need to find my school. So if I want to, I can just zoom in and find it in the map, or I can just type it into the query box. So when I click on Crossroads Academy, Google automatically creates a place marker for me on this map, but it's not currently added to any layer. So to do that, I'll need to click on the place marker and then click Add to Map. Now it's been added to my map, but it's under Untapped Possibilities, and that's not where I want it to go, so I'm going to have to move it. So to move it, I simply click on it and shift it upwards. Now it's time to add those current community connections. I can zoom in and manually move towards the community connection I have, like the Kansas City Public Library. I click on this Add Marker tool, and then I simply click on the location of the place. And I have a place marker. Or I could type in the name of the place, click on it, and once again, Google Maps finds it for me automatically. I click on MindDrive on the place marker, and then click Add to Map, and it's been added. Now it's time to edit. So I'm going to edit this place marker by clicking on it, and then clicking on the Edit Pin option. I'm going to add a description, and I'm going to also change the title or add to the title. Auto Fabrication Shop. This gives my colleagues a better idea of what MindDrive is. In Google Maps, I have to hold down Control and then press Enter in order to create a new line. So I'm going to add contact information for the person who I know at MindDrive that likes to work with students. And then Control Enter again, and I'm going to add referred by and my name. And then I'm going to click Save. And if I want to, I can change the color and shape of this place marker. So to do that, I click on the paint bucket on the left-hand side, and I can change the color, and I can change the icon shape. Okay, so I've decided I'm going to make all of my current community connections blue stars. Okay, so now it's time to add an untapped possibility. So to do that, I'm probably going to have to zoom in on my school and start looking around. Kansas City Southern. This might be a good opportunity for maybe our science classes, for example. So I'm going to give the title a good description. That way anyone who looks at it will know exactly what it is. So in place of the description, I'm going to say possible entry event for a unit on force and motion. So perhaps students could visit this site before beginning their unit or project-based learning experience. So I press Save, and I notice that on the left-hand side, where all of my places are showing up, that this is under Current Community Connections. I'm going to drag this down to Untapped Possibilities, so it's where it belongs. And again, I can click on this paint bucket, and I can change this, or I could leave it the same. I think I'm going to leave it because it really stands out. So now you're done editing, and it's time to share this with your colleagues. If you've created the map, it's time to share it with your colleagues so they have access to your community connections and can add their community connections to the map. And in order to do this, you will need to click on the Share button on the left-hand side. Once you've clicked on this button, a pop-up will give you the option to invite people. You will have to invite someone who has a Google account. Those are the only email addresses you can use in order for the person to be able to edit the map. So I'm going to select Ticey. I'm going to invite her to my map, and I'm going to make sure that on the right-hand side, Can Edit has been selected from this drop-down. A lot of times the default is Can View, so make sure you change that to Can Edit so that she can add her resources as well. I can add a message if I want explaining what this map is about, which is exactly what we did with our staff at Crossroads. Then when I hit send, Ticey will receive an email with a link to the map, and she can then edit and add her connections too.